This is the backup of the Brandy Vaughan Learn the Risk website. And as you can see, this article was originally posted on October 18th, 2018. And this is a picture of Zara Antoinette Shiel, or Shiel, S-H-I-E-L. Now, the reason why Brandy Vaughan wrote this article, or someone else wrote it for the Learn the Risk website, is that there is a story that Zara Shiel died in 2014, I believe, and that her dad, sometime around the same day, October 18th, it's interesting that she had that information so fast, that her dad, or someone who said that he was her dad, Matt Shiel, and another woman whose name is Brittany Kirsten, I have it misspelled there in the title, I'm sorry, it's supposed to be K-E-R-S-T-E-N, went to the studio of ZDoggMD and banged on the windows a little bit, and Brittany Kirsten blew a kiss at the end of the video. It's all kind of awkward. And of course, ZDoggMD had a way over the top reaction. And I guess they knew exactly when his next video was going to start. And of course, Paul Offit is there. So it's Paul Offit, and then this father of a Zara Antoinette Shiel, or just Zara Shiel, who is said to have died. Now, the problem is that if you go to Ancestry.com and you start looking for Zara Shiel, you'll only find 2 entries in there of her death, and they both reference the online memorial websites. And there is no record of her birth. Now, I know that the family, I guess they was living in Nevada, and Matt Shiel says he's living in Nevada, but there's no record of Zara's birth in there, only her passing. And the passing links to a Find a Grave website where you can actually find the pictures of Zara Shiel. And there's one photo here, this is one that they use, and it just happens to have her name on the bag. And you can notice all of these were uploaded on February 14th, 2020. And the page itself was created on February 2020, which means it wasn't until midway through February, again, the first month of the pandemic, right, that someone actually created this memorial website. Meaning that until February 14th, 2020, there was neither any record indicating of Zara Shiel's birth or address, which is understandable because she was only 1, or her passing. Not to mention there's no records in any of the newspapers of Zara Shiel, even misspelled. Not of her birth, not of her passing. So the question then becomes, did she even exist? Or is this another child? I don't think this is a computer rendering. This is a real child. But is that really her? I don't know. It would actually fit the profile, though. So remember the event where ZDogg talks about this in October of 2018 with Paul Offit there, was of course to show that anti-vaxxers, even if their own child died, are mean, angry people and willing to bang windows, and ZDogg even made a reference, make sure you get the gun, while Paul Offit was there. And then he talked about it extensively, except ZDogg always attributed it to Larry Cook's Stop Mandatory Vaccinations website, and he never said Learn the Risk. Meanwhile, week after that is actually in front of the United States CDC Advisory Committee on Immunization, and she gives her speech there. You can go to brandyvaughan.org to get to my page with this chronological list of evidence and videos. But then on November 1st, 2018, ZDogg highlights a Brandy Vaughan video. The greatest thing you'll ever see today, she was a drug rep. Which is strange. I'm not sure if he's saying that she's not a real anti-vaxxer or that she's an op for an anti-vaxxer. I don't know what ZDogg was trying to say. But I do think it's likely that ZDogg, again, This is speculation because of the absence of all the evidence. This might have actually been a totally staged anti-vaxxer event of them coming up to the window and banging on the window and showing the picture. I'm just going to add one more piece to this. Some of you may have found the Dignity Memorial, and there's the URL for it, for Zara Antoinette Shield, and this is where you'll find the original photo, which was used at least for the Learn the Risk webpage, and it actually has the date of birth and the date of her passing, November 19th, 2014 on it. And what this would do is it would give you the impression that everything here is real. In fact, some of the dates of people, such as this Hugh UK, actually are from 2015. But if you go to the page source, and if you dig in, you'll realize that the actual publication date is listed as September 18th, 2018, which corresponds to just 3 or 4 weeks before the ZDogg stunt, which means they were planning to use that picture and that story for those anti-vaxxers that came up to the window when Paul Offit came into town for that particular interview. It would have been about a week and a half before the billboard that was paid for with a fundraiser set up by Brandy Vaughan and Learn the Risk for the son of MMA fighter Nicholas or Nick Catone. This was actually Brandy Vaughan's birthday wish in the year 2018 to just raise enough money to pay for 1 or 2 months for that billboard. And of course that billboard was defaced. But I think even more alarming is the actual date of that application for the Dignity Memorial page to be created, which was then backdated as far as passing. Backdated to the year 2014. It would have been actually just a couple of weeks after a first ever large, serious cyber attack that took down Brandy Vaughan's website. Her IT staff said that it was the first time they ever saw a nonprofit's website taken down, at least temporarily, by a denial of service. And then Brandy Vaughan was already on the signature list of paperwork that was being sent to members of the World Health Organization, where she was included with James Lyons Weiler, Del Bigtree, and Robert F. Kennedy Jr., and Bernadette Pajer, all of Children's Health Defense. So I think is that they actually fabricated the death of a 1-year-old child to have a backstory and a picture that fake anti-vaxxers could use in a staged anti-vaxxer event on October 18th, 2018, which was then pushed for years and recollected for years afterwards by ZDoggMD as a way to both show that people who are against vaccines are violent, which is a sick thing to do, but also to actually steer attention towards the Larry Cook Stop Mandatory Vaccinations effort, as well as any funding out there, and starve the efforts of Brandy Vaughan, who died, possibly murdered, and afterwards ignored by all of these people on December 7th, 2020. Rest in peace, Brandy Vaughan.